Live from Utah's Wasatch Front, the pulse of the Mountain West, where the issues that shape your life meet the truth that sets you free. Across Utah, across the Republic, and around the world, welcome. This is KMMU.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Goud Crowd. I am your host Goud, and we are here. I guess we're going to start the show without a real intro, and we're going to go straight to Sophie.
Hey, perfect.
Welcome to
I'll
the
be
show,
the intro. Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Producer, can you add the call-in number? Just let me do a quick little intro, Sophie. So,
Okay.
For those of you listening, we broadcast every Monday from 5 to 7. You can call in if you want to join the conversation. The number is 385-899-2134. Sophie, while she's here, would be happy to take your questions. And we are going to start the show today by talking about Axe the Tax. So tell us what you got to say, Sophie.
So, Goud, I don't know about you. Well, actually, I do know about you, that you and I both feel this Axe the Tax effort was, as much as it was a difficult and heavy and exhausting and all the things lift, it was absolutely exhilarating at the same time to see the excitement, the hope, the momentum of Salt Lake County residents. I'm not a Salt Lake County resident anymore. I'm in Davis County, but I could still gather the signatures.
Yep.
And I could just, I mean, I made so many new friends through this that it's awesome, right? And I do believe, sorry, this kind of tangential, but not. I do believe the referendum process system is absolutely designed to fail because our elected officials, the elite, the establishment, whatever you want to call that group of people that are adamant to hold on to power and control, they have to make sure that we do not have a voice as citizens. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
No, I think you're right. So I think just so people understand,
Sorry, I know. Give some context, Gal.
Yeah. So today is the deadline, and we went through, we assessed where we were, and we realized, or actually we had a sense of this, but that we won't have the signatures we need to meet the threshold. Now we got tens of thousands of signatures. It's insane. I think how many signatures we were able to get. That we had hundreds of people who actually went and gathered signatures and dropped off full packets of signatures. I mean, people got hundreds of signatures apiece. Lots of energy, lots of hope. And I'll just tell you, like, I've had people come by my house, drop off a packet, ask where we think we are. When I said, well, I don't think we're going to have the signatures. People are like, oh, that's too bad. But then it turned out multiple people, it was their first time ever getting involved in anything political. And my message to them was, hey, if you do this long enough, you'll realize not everything is successful in that kind of traditional sense, I guess. But you should get more involved. I was like, are you a delegate? Are you a precinct chair? Turns out none of them were, but now they're interested. Yeah, because I think we found people that could be core, amazing volunteers for the Republican Party, or, if they're Democrats, that's fine too. For the Democrat Party, either one. We need people that are engaged like this all across the political spectrum, because I think it'll make Utah a better place.
Absolutely. And God, I'm not trying to make excuses or anything like that, but this entire time, the one point to me that kept on a reoccurring thought to me was, I'm so honored, so happy, so grateful to have this experience of being part of a referendum and trying to educate and make people motivated or whatever, but and get the signatures. But the reoccurring theme for me is, even if we were to have gotten the signatures, the fact is there is nothing that keeps the Salt Lake County Council from doing this exact same thing next year.
Yep.
And I don't know about you, as beautiful and wonderful as this experience was, I am not doing another tax referendum next year. Maybe in a few years, but not next year. So, so that it's very, uh, I think one of the main takeaways for us is that there has to be a permanent infrastructure solution to these like outrageous tax hikes put in place.
Okay.
And yeah, do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Why don't you tell? Yeah, I think people might want to hear, what is that solution? Maybe tell us a little bit about kind of how you see this going forward.
Okay, so one of the main problems I saw with this tax hike was it felt very much like the Salt Lake County Council and our elected officials were just kind of like, this is what we're going to do. And here we are. And we voted on it. Um, and the one councilman who voted against it is going to be harassed and, drug through the mud and all of those fun things by the other councilmen. So that was really interesting to watch.
Yeah.
And it makes it more suspicious and weird than just a tax hike to me. If someone doesn't, Carlos Moreno voted against the tax hike, the one councilman that voted against it. And it was just like, I mean, it was all out, going after Carlos. So that makes me think there's a lot more to what's the dynamic of the council doesn't seem like a healthy one to me.
Yeah. Just on that point, actually, it was significant that Carlos voted against it, because typically budgets coming out of the Salt Lake County Council come out unanimously, and it's on purpose, because then they come out and they say, oh, it's bipartisan. We all agreed on it. Oh, you shouldn't object to it because it's all so perfect, But Carlos actually did something that changed the dynamic by voting against that budget and making it. I think he actually made the axe the tax start even possible. If he had voted for it, we would have been like, okay, what do you do with that?
100%. He was the catalyst.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Carlos is going to stand up to this. Okay, we can do something as citizens that are going to be affected by this. But so kind of, what does a permanent solution look like?
Yeah.
I think you and I and the Axe the Tax team and the community we want much more input from the people that are actually going to be paying the tax. And so that's one of our main focuses, is bringing the community in to finding solutions to the budget and possible tax hikes.
Okay.
And yeah, and so the Axe the Tax team, they're very, very interested. We are very, very interested to work with the council and others who feel they have something to bring to the table to have real solutions. So that is one of our main objectives. And also we have a Doge team
Yep.
that we've put together. You know that. And this Doge team is
Yeah, but the listeners don't. You're good.
This Doge team is incredible as far as digging into the facts and bringing real solutions and possible policies that can have real solutions. So that's what we're looking at.
Okay, so the next step is moving into kind of a more enduring process as the budget, because just so listeners understand, the budget comes up twice a year, and that's by Utah statute. So December is the first look, and then it comes back in June. A lot of times, actually, what you'll find is the Salt Lake County Council will increase the budget in June even more. But what we're hoping is that with this Doge committee and other efforts that we can actually go in there and say, we should cut the budget. You guys have inflated it too much. Here are specific cuts that can come out of this now.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay. And then I was going to say, there was also some others, because we put out a press release. Just so people know, there's kind of like a core group of people that have been, I would say, running this whole thing. Obviously, the two of us are part of it, but there are other people that were heavily involved in this, spending hours and hours of their time doing this, and kind of keeping the core organized, so then we could distribute packets, get people the help they need to fill out their packets, and collect the packets, and set up the events, and do all sorts of stuff. So that's what Sophie's talking about when she talks about that Axe the Tax team. Plus, I'll just say, anybody who helped along the process is 100% welcome to be a part of this new effort to bring transparency to the budget and come up with new cuts.
We would welcome that so much. I mean, expanding the team would be a beautiful thing, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Oh my goodness, like Goud, I am just like, okay, today is the deadline. I am sad and so terrifically happy as well. That's all
Yeah,
I'm going
I
to
know.
say
I
on
was
that.
because Cass came over for date night, and our date night was him scanning packets and me doing quality checks. So
Exactly. I think my husband is so happy he will see me again.
yeah.
Seriously. And my kids will have a mother. Everything will be fine. But one thing I did want to mention was it's really, really fascinating to me. The Prop 4 signature gathering effort that is going on. And I mean, I guess it is I'm trying to pat ourselves on the back because I think we absolutely deserve it. That effort is a paid effort. Millions of dollars have been poured into that, which great. That's great. That is great. Like the GOP is figuring that out. I do want to say that I feel that our Axe the Tax Salt Lake County tax referendum was absolutely 100% a volunteer effort, from the heart. There were no incentives outside of like, this is the right thing to do. And I just love that. I personally, did we reach the threshold? No, we didn't, but we gathered tens of thousands of signatures with this ragtag team of people that have regular lives, and this was not their full-time job. That's pretty incredible to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna, on that point, I did want to say, like, some of the people that helped with this, to me, it's always really interesting to see backgrounds, right?
Yes.
We had a lot of people are maybe a little bit more well-heeled that were helping, and then we also had working class people. I mean, I can't. We have one person. I was standing in front of Stan's Marcus. She got the ability to do that. It was all working class people coming in there, and the responses were just amazing to me. It was just like, oh, I can't afford a 15% tax increase. Like, what is this? One woman, she saw us, we were standing outside, and then when she first interacted, I was like, oh, is she mad or something? I don't know what happened. She went inside, came back out, and I was like, oh, hey, how are you? And she was like, I want to sign that petition. And then she drove away with her daughter, and like 30 minutes later, they came back again, and they got out of the car, and we were like, oh, hey, you already signed. And she was like, and the daughter was like, yeah, she got so upset about the taxes that she forgot what she wanted to buy in the store.
That's hilarious. Exactly.
Yeah. So I just think, and there's a few other things on the policy side, right? There were some things here that I think are worth talking about. One is what you just brought up. I do wonder if a volunteer effort at a referendum or initiative should actually have a lower signature threshold than a paid one. We have a lot of talk about kind of dark money. And I'm not saying, I just want to say, I'm not, look, with the Republican Party one, I want it to be on the ballot. I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying that these are criticisms you hear from people. And then we have a system that's set up where it really like, it's set up so that it only succeeds if you get money, right?
Yes.
And so, and there's one thing here. Mr. Producer said, can you tell the listeners what the threshold quantity is? The threshold was at least 45,000 signatures.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we have tens of thousands. I'll tell you, the number is really impressive. We don't have an exact number because like this, once as people started swarming us with packets the last few days, it's been a little bit hard to keep up. But we just know we didn't hit that 45,000 threshold, and so you know that just that makes us a little bit different. But when you look at kind of the infrastructure, the people doing it, that's all volunteers, this is a really impressive, I think, outcome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And one, just to your point, one thing that I've noticed with the paid signature gathering efforts is you're bringing in a third party into the situation. And I don't think overall that's very positive. Like if as Republicans in the state of Utah, if we want to coalesce and organize, it makes sense to me to use your own people to make the efforts to do certain things. You know, Goud, you were there with me many times at the Expo Center on the weekends, and we had some really interesting situations come up with the out of state signature gatherers, and I don't really see any positives to that. So that's another element that I really, really appreciate about our signature gathering effort. It was like,
Mhm.
it was Utahns working for Utahns for free.
Yeah. No, I agree. Just a couple of other, and that actually on that, I will say like some of these guys that come from out of state are actually, they're very nice people. I met one guy,
Yes.
nicest guy. I mean, and I will just say this because it was interesting to me. He's Black and he's from Georgia. And I used to live in the DC area. So like DC is, the city is like 50 or used to be 50% Black. And so I'm more used to this.
Yes.
And he said that he actually had people hurl the N-word at him. But he did say it was people that were opposed to the effort to repeal Prop 4, which
Okay.
I think would means it's probably someone on the liberal side.
Yes.
But just, and part of this is like, I don't know, it made me really uncomfortable for him because I just felt like you shouldn't have to deal with that, even if people don't agree with what you're doing. Like, that's just
100%.
inappropriate. Yeah, and it makes our
100%.
state look bad.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Oh my goodness, he's gonna go back to Georgia, and what is he gonna say about Utahns?
I know. Totally. And by the way, totally the nicest guy. Like, I mean, he called me multiple times afterwards to like, hey, where should I go? Like, I was like, oh, okay, I guess go here. I mean, here's a spot, whatever.
Yeah, totally. No, I mean, nothing against or derogatory towards those who did come to. I'm just really stressing, like, I think moving forward, the importance of Utahns fighting for Utahns, and
Yeah.
the party activating its members to accomplish the
Yeah.
important things.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. I say this all the time because sometimes people will say we have like election integrity issues, and I hear people say, "Oh, why doesn't this person, some national person, say something about it, or that person?" I'm always like, I do not care if they say anything or not. We have to solve our own problems here because
100%.
because it affects us. Like, I care about Utah. I ignore a lot of other stuff because, like, I think there was probably cheating in Virginia just based on some statistical stuff I saw. but
Yes.
I don't live there and I don't have the time to deal with it. So
Totally, totally, totally. And I'm just gonna give a shameless plug, Gout, if you don't mind. On the 26th, I have a grandma appeal hearing with the
Ooh.
state auditor's office for all the communications um, connected to and regarding the signature audit for Spencer Cox's signatures. I was denied, I was denied twice by the state auditor's office for those communications.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can, it's not in person, it's by Zoom, but you can listen in and I fully intend to win that appeal. So,
Love it.
so
So
good.
wait, say the date and time again.
So it is February 26th at 9 o'clock, and I can post the link as it gets closer. But yeah, these are public documents, these are public communications, and we have been given all the runaround for why they can't release them to us, such as there's an investigation that we have
What?
proven. Yes,
Uh,
that is why they denied me the communications, because there is an investigation, which we know is not true. So yeah, tune in. I think it's going to be fun.
okay. So we got a comment. So we didn't get the Prop 4 required signatures. No, this isn't about Prop 4. This is about Axe the Tax. Prop 4, I think, I don't know how much. I think they'll have the signatures. So that I will predict it right now. I do think they'll get the signatures,
Yes.
which is good. I think that's
Yes.
good. So I'm happy about that. I collected some signatures. I actually, if anyone wants to sign it, I still have a packet at my house. You are welcome to come over. I will give you some chocolate. Not for your signature, just because I'm a nice person and and I want to get rid of the chocolate. Okay.
And can I just say one thing about that?
Yeah.
I signed the Prop 4 petition. I am 100% for that. I do want to bring up a very important point. Like,
Mhm.
it is our very own Republican elected officials that gave us this debacle. And I hope people really understand that. Like, the Democrats didn't do this to us. Blake Moore worked with Better Boundaries and created this entire situation that now we as Republicans have to deal with. And I would love an acknowledgement from Blake Moore about that, So anyway,
Oh,
just,
totally. You know, the thing
yes,
is though, is he's fake and gay, so he's gonna go run in the new CD2 instead of the CD. He lives in Salt Lake City,
yes,
so he should
yes,
run in his district with all
except,
the leftists that he loves and lives around, but he's
yeah,
not going to do it.
he should run in the very district he helped create,
Yep.
and he won't do it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
very interesting.
I do
Sorry,
like that you
that's a
brought that
whole
up, though.
other show. I'm sorry, that's a whole other show. So
I love it. No, okay. So Mr. Producer says you might explain the difference between Prop 4 statewide versus Axe the Tax. Yeah, okay. So Axe the Tax was the Salt Lake County Council passed a 15% property tax increase. This was an effort to get that property tax increase onto the ballot. It was only countywide. It was volunteer run. And so Sophie and I are two of the people that ran that. Prop 4 is a statewide initiative. I guess it's an initiative to repeal I'm saying this kind of weird. It's an initiative to repeal Prop 4 that was passed in 2018. And it's statewide, and they have different requirements than we do. Like, obviously, they have to collect more signatures. They have to do it in so many Senate districts, blah, blah, blah. And that one, they have paid signature gatherers, and people are also helped. Like, the people that sign the ones at my house, I don't get paid for. That's free. But and so they had like $4 million, I think, to publicize that and do all this kind of stuff. So the two efforts are a little bit different. Marsgate says he has been a dog from the beginning. I think this person is referring to Blake Moore.
let's hope it's not one of us.
Yeah, right. Okay, just a few more things on the
Yeah.
referendum.
Well,
Okay.
I just want to say, like, this is not the end of this at all. Like, yes, today was the deadline, but you and I both know that we're going to still be tirelessly working to make sure that this gets resolved and there's community input and all of that. So I would say to listeners, like, look for the updates that are going to be coming, because they are going to be coming.
Yeah, where's the best place for people to get updates?
So, Phil Lyman has, he gave his like social media and a lot of resources for this Axe the Tax effort. And so a lot of the updates will be posted on his social media, as well as yours, I'm sure. And we could do updates on the website, on the,
Oh yeah,
um,
yeah.
yeah. Oh.
Am I? I don't know what just
Okay.
happened. That was weird.
I was running the show for like 30 seconds, Goud. Just so you know.
You didn't say anything though. You said, "Oh."
I'm obviously not very good at this.
Okay, so I don't know. Okay, so I was going to point out a few other things that I think are kind of weird about this, right?
Yes.
So you only have 40 days, which seems kind of fast. They for some weird reason they make it, like for the statewide initiative, you have to get signatures, and I think whatever some number, 17 of the 29 Senate districts, 26 of the 20. I don't know what the number is. In the county, you have to get it in 5 of the 6 county council districts. I do not think that makes any sense at all, because they're always telling us like Salt Lake County, it's all the same. If I go to Salt Lake City, it's just like being in Riverton. Well, why do I need to go and get signatures all over the county? It just seems like an extra, and it's a huge burden, right? Because then that puts burden on us to try to figure out where all these addresses are coming from, and it's actually not that easy to do.
No.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're putting them. And then the other one is if someone gives you an email address, which I was telling people, don't give us your email. You then have to send them an email saying that you got their signature. Like what? It's like the person signed it. Why do I need to? They obviously know that they signed it. So why am I emailing you on top of that?
Exactly. And one thing I noticed, like every time I go to the print shop and pick those up, the amount of paper and things that had to be printed
Yeah.
for every single packet, like there has got to be a more efficient way to do this. So
Yes, I
just
concur. And I find it
okay.
very weird that we have to give, it's like most of the package is a bunch of useless paper that no one ever looks at. Yeah. When you could just the clerk could just put the language on their website and you could just direct them there if they want to see it.
Exactly. And I just see it as adding to the cost of grassroots volunteer efforts, right? Like we
You
had to
know it.
pay to get those packets printed. And instead of, I don't know, 50 pages printed, it was like 100 pages printed because of all the added paper. So
Yep.
just another obstruction.
Well, they hate us. I think that's the bottom line with that. The other thing is, for anyone that's interacted with the volunteers, we do have a volunteer who is disabled and in a wheelchair, and she's paraplegic. So I think one of the things going forward is trying to figure out better how individuals with disabilities can actually participate in First Amendment activities. One of the things we found is that she can't be outside in the cold for extended periods of time. So we need to have her inside a building. Well, for some, even though we pay for all these buildings with our tax dollars, they're like milking us to death. Then when you're like, okay, well, can we have her, at least her, sit
Yes.
inside, and with one person, obviously, like you don't want the person to sit by themselves, sit inside the building, whether it is the convention center, a city council building, the county council building, whatever it is. Oh no, you can't do that. No First Amendment activities allowed inside of our building. And there has to be a better way to do this. And honestly, I think they should let people into the buildings for First Amendment activities anyway, because we pay for those buildings.
These are our buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was maybe one of the very most interesting things we confronted and learned during this experience.
Mhm.
That it it is not it didn't feel like um we were being helped to accommodate her with
No,
this.
no, they threw up roadblocks every which way. I mean,
Yeah.
look, I'll give the staff at the Mountain America Expo Center credit because we were able to get into a couple of shows,
Yes.
and they
Yes.
tried, but
Yes.
I just feel like we shouldn't be entitled to that.
Right.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. And honestly, like I think a lot of people listening to this would probably think, oh, conservatives don't care about disabled people's access. And normally I would not have thought about it because it wouldn't have been at the front of my mind. But
Yes.
working with someone in that situation, I want her to have full access to all these, to
Totally.
be able to do this stuff. I
A
don't
hundred
understand.
percent. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
so,
especially,
no, go ahead.
yes. No, and I mean, uh, our friend who is disabled, like she's incredible. I mean, she's an absolute asset to this effort. And so it's like when there are roadblocks, it just feels very not helpful to the
Yeah.
overall effort. Yeah.
Right. And so we will be working on this issue. I will say I did talk to the Disability Law Center about this, because they're the experts. And so if there's a way that we can work with them, and I've talked to Katie about this, if there's a way that we can work with them to try to advocate for better accessibility, we're going to do it. Because I want these people to have the exact same abilities to participate as anybody else.
100%.
Yeah, and then the final one I'll say is also a lot of stores and malls are getting all sorts of tax abatements and tax benefits, and I think that should open them up to having to allow First Amendment activities on their property. What we found is that Walmart, grocery store, Costco, these guys are all getting tax abatements.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, well, this is private property. You can't come on our well, my home is private property. I don't get a tax abatement.
Exactly.
You are getting a tax abatement. I'm paying for you. I'm subsidizing you because you're not paying your full share. You actually should have to be forced to open that up to the public.
Exactly. And some of those stores that you mentioned, I mean, they were not helpful with this effort.
Oh yeah. In fact, some of
Exactly.
them are nasty. I was
Yes.
at Costco this weekend in Riverton. Now Cass and I went and we actually stood. There's empty land around it, so we stood across the street and we had people pull up and sign the both of the petitions. It was pretty funny.
That's
But
awesome.
then Katie came, and Katie and another person, they actually tried to go onto the Costco property, and the manager came out within minutes.
Okay.
And she told me that he claimed a customer complained. And she says, she was like, look, we'll leave, but we're not letting you claim that a customer complained. We talked to like 5 people,
Yeah.
and 3 of them signed it.
Exactly.
Like, nobody complained.
No one's upset about this.
Yeah, I know. Like,
Exactly.
so anyway, but these are things that we'll work on. I think
Yes.
that there's a lot of really, the budget issues, but also just like policy issues about
Yeah.
broader, like how do we handle disability access? Does this referendum process make sense for people that are volunteers? Because like I think most grassroots people on both sides of the aisle want money out of politics. They don't want the dark money.
Yes.
And so how do we make that happen? I think we do it by making it so that incentivize it that these types of things are happening with volunteers and not money.
Exactly. Well, and Goud, I just want to say I am so honored to have been able to work on this with you, because I can't even imagine like everything you're doing and the amount of work and effort you put into this tax referendum. Like, thank you so much. I hope people know, like, you must be absolutely exhausted. You need a vacation. You deserve a vacation.
Oh, thanks. Well, you too. You work your butt off. That's the thing. People don't I don't think people understand like how much it takes, and when the core piece of this to make the rest of it happen is exhausting. I mean, like I said, I think Cass will be the happiest because date night will not be scanning packets and doing quality checks anymore.
Totally.
So,
And my family will have a mother and a wife. So
yeah, there you
that's
go.
awesome.
So across the board, wins across the board.
Totally.
Okay, so well, thanks for coming up. Where can people find you?
So I'm on Twitter, just Sophie Anderson.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens with this us trying to get election integrity and transparency in our state.
Oh yeah, that'll be exciting. What's the date again?
February 26th.
Okay, we'll be
And I'll
watching
post
it.
on my account. Okay, thanks so much.
Thanks,
Have a good
Sophie.
night. Okay, bye.
Okay, well, just so you know, you're listening to KMMU Main Street Media Utah, bringing Utah a voice. We're live on YouTube, Rumble, X, and our website, kmmu.org. Call in and ask us a question or make a comment, 385-899-2134. And thank you for listening to the Goud Crowd. Let's see. Oh, someone said, oh, hi, Sophie. Well, she just left. I'll pass it along. Maybe, hopefully she's still listening. And thanks for clarifying you met Blake Moore. Okay, so that's the whole, I think that's the main update on the Axe the Tax effort. I do want to just emphasize to everybody, thank you to everybody who participated. I have interacted with so many wonderful people, and I don't want to get all emotional because I did that before, but it is very inspirational and motivational to meet people and to see the efforts that they're willing to go to try to make a difference in the state. And I just hope, this is my hope, that if you participated, that you do not feel discouraged or think that things cannot change, right? The way that politics works is you don't win everything. I've lost 2 elections and I'm still here. They can't get rid of me. They keep trying. It just doesn't work. So understand that, like, you don't win everything, but you keep trying and things will change. And I think here there's actually a really good path forward, and you'll be hearing more and more about it in terms of enduring budget change, so that we can change how the budgets are done and try to prevent any additional tax increases and hopefully get some budget cuts. So just don't feel discouraged. Get involved. And I want to say to anyone that was active, anyone that signed a petition, the caucuses are coming up on March 17th. We need people like you to be involved in the Republican Party. It's a lot of work to be able to change things, to make the state a better place. And so if you want to participate, get involved. This March 17th is a great opportunity. You can become a precinct chair. The precinct chair one, I think sometimes people, they think it's just a lot of work and it's not a lot of, it's not very rewarding, but honestly, I've been doing it now. And I will say initially I was like, nobody wanted to do it, so I did it. But now I'm actually kind of enjoying it. So I would recommend it. I think it's kind of interesting. And then also become a state and county delegate. You can directly impact who is elected to office, which will make a huge difference. If you don't want tax increases, then you can go and make sure that you get people in office who will not increase your taxes. So this great opportunity is coming up to get involved. I think the timing here maybe is really great from that perspective. And then I had one other thought, and I can't remember what it was, but maybe it'll come to me at some point. So let's see here. Next, I have, okay. I'll give you something a little bit gossipy because I love, we need some humor in life, right? Humor makes things so I have this case that I filed against Darlene McDonald. Okay, so Darlene McDonald is this, I would say she's kind of like I don't know how to describe her. I guess she's like an activist, a Black activist. And she thinks that everything is, everything's racist. And a couple of years ago, she went onto X and accused me of spreading gay porn on X. And it's totally false. And I told her she was wrong. She didn't take the post down. Then when I ran for state house in 2024, someone brought it up. Like, oh, hey, I saw this post saying that you did this. And I was like, that's not me. That's someone. Basically what happened is when I ran for county clerk, I used the Goud for clerk, Goud the number 4 clerk Twitter handle. And then when I lost, I changed it to Goud the number 4 Utah, because the Goud for clerk thing didn't make any sense. Well, someone took the Goud for clerk handle and started posting like really disgusting stuff on X. I complained about it, but like they're not going to take it down. They didn't. And so then anyway, she started accusing me of this stuff. And that was up until right after the November 24 election, because when Trump won, she deleted her X account. Well, anyway, so I filed this defamation lawsuit against her. She got personally served. She chose not to answer. I defaulted her. And then late last year, maybe September of last year, I filed a motion for default judgment. And then she came into the case. She asked the court to lift the default, and we had a hearing. So let me just play you a little bit of the hearing, because I think this is interesting. Because there's a lot of talk about how Republicans, there's a lot of infighting, and this is a good example of elected officials, what they do. So let's play this first one. Just give me 1 second. Let me tee this up for you. Okay. If you guys pay attention to me, I think it was last year, or maybe it was 24. Candace Perucci's husband was all pro-war. You know, all these people are like, everyone's like pro-war because they don't have to go fight the war. So here you can hear about this.
As well, when you attack her body on social media, and she said, "Gallup, you are a complete and sore loser. You have come after my family one too many times. You are a toxic parasite." This is from a standing representative, Candace Perucci. "You are a toxic parasite, and I'm glad the delegates saw through your lies and sent you packing."
Okay, so just so you understand, her husband was promoting going to war, like we should go fight in Ukraine and go fight for Israel, like all this kind of stuff. And I basically said, well, and he's a rather large man. And so I just said, hey, if you need help, maybe if you're so pro-war, you should join the military. I can help you get in shape for the PT test, because I don't think you'll be able to pass it right now. That got Candace Perucci really upset. And then she said I was a toxic parasite, blah, 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 whatever, who cares? But what I think is interesting here is a Democrat is bringing up these Republican elected officials who are saying nasty things about me. All right, here's the next one. It's actually Mike McKell.
The harm that you have claimed to have experienced has been at your own making and at your own doing. I had no fault in that. You, as a public figure, I sent social media posts of informing people that while you were attacking LGBTQ people, there was another account under your name that had explicit images on it. That was
wasn't my account.
That is information that as a public figure, the public is entitled to. That falls under free speech. But in my defense,
except when it's defamation,
I cannot, ignorance is not a defense for not following the law. I understand that. And it was, I submitted the wrong paper.
Let me see. There's another part where she says, oh, hold on. Here it is. Okay.
State senator, and that you have been unelectable because of your behavior on social media. You have repeatedly attacked current. Okay.
She's talking about Mike McKell, the governor's brother-in-law. So here's what I want to kind of get people to understand. They had a minority, right? Veteran, gay guy who's like more conservative. I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm more conservative than 99% of the Utah State Legislature by far. And all I get is Republican officials who constantly attack me. Mike McKell said I'm unelectable. I mean, he might be right, because I think actually if you're in the Republican Party and you're not LDS, it is very highly unlikely that you can be elected based on my experience. And actually, I will say this, I've had other people express the same sentiments to me. And that's just where we are right now. I hope things will change in the future, because I do think the problem with that is that if you just judge people based on that LDS association, sometimes you're getting really bad people in there who might not actually be LDS. They're just kind of claiming it. I would say, for example, I think Lieutenant Governor Henderson is an example of that. I don't think she's LDS. I think she claims that, but I have LDS. Most of my neighbors are LDS, and they're very honest, very nice people. And she is none of those things. She is a liar. She cheated and stole the 24 GOP primary. She lied about delegates who harassed her nieces at the 24 GOP convention, the state convention. She lied about getting white powder in the 24 general election. And she's lying about this citizenship audit she did. She didn't really do a true audit. So when you look at that type of a record, I think she wears, for her, LDS is like a skin suit that she's wearing, and because she wants to be in power. I don't think she actually is an adherent to the LDS faith. So anyway, that's the whole point of that whole thing. So my point is, I think our culture is changing. I think more people are waking up to this, because if that's your kind of main thing, people will use it, and bad people get into office who don't actually believe what you believe. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting to have Republican elected officials quoted by Darlene McDonald. this a rabid, insane Democrat who literally thinks that if you're Black, you should get special treatment in a hearing like that. I will say she lost her motion, so that was kind of fun. Because essentially she waited over a year to file an answer to a complaint, and there's nothing that allows that in case law. So that was kind of nice. It was a nice ending so far. Okay, next thing. Tonight, right now, I think actually, the Salt Lake County GOP is in the process of removing some of its members. So let's pull this up real quick. I'll play a little bit of this video so you can kind of get a sense of what I'm talking about. But here's I just want to make sure people understand. Here we go.
December, I'm with a group of, unfortunately, there is a part 2 to this story. So we came in December. I'm with a group of incredible people from the Salt Lake County who are in the GOP. Great people here, women and Casey Gell too. So we have a group of us who now it has been expanded. So we were here in December.
So you have Monica Wilbur, Natalie Klein, Kathy Duke, Tracy Halverson, Case Sanderson, and Laurel Fetzer. Is that 6? Casey Gale. I think there's one more person. I don't know that I know her name. And they're having a hearing tonight to remove all of these people from the Salt Lake County GOP. Some of them I think are precinct chairs, state and county delegates. They've been in the Republican Party for a very long time. They're very active members. If you are involved at all, you probably run into one or more of them multiple times. And the leadership of the Salt Lake County GOP is trying to remove all of them tonight. So let's listen a little bit more.
There were 2 people who were targeted for removal from their offices within the party, and we came and helped fight for them, and the party has chosen, instead of to dismiss this, to continue it forward, and now they have expanded it to 8 people. So we believe it was out of order the entire time. It should be dismissed, but they're moving forward. So we wanted to hear some of the thoughts here from people.
Well, first off, we all signed a letter because we believed that what was happening was in violation of the county bylaws, the GOP bylaws, and in those bylaws we have a duty to report something if we find that it may have been done wrong or illegally. So we simply signed a letter to report something we thought
This is Natalie Klein talking.
as being a possible violation, and so that's why we're all here being targeted, because apparently they don't want us pointing things out that they might have done wrong.
It's super ironic when you think of it, because we're just we're elected representatives.
This is Monica Wilbur. Mr. Producer, this is killing me today.
Whether we are state delegates or SEC members or whatever it may be. But we're just here to represent our neighbors, and we're all volunteers. This is all on our volunteer time. And so when we saw this
I'm sorry, you guys.
violation in the bylaws of the party or the state or the county party trying to endorse outside of a process. The county has no process to endorse people in nonpartisan elections and to put the Republican, favored Republican label on them. And so when we knew that wasn't there, we just all signed a letter saying this is something that needs to be looked into. We feel like the party's tipping the scales. And so we signed the letter. And now I got a registered letter in the mail saying you need to appear to a hearing. That doesn't seem to be following any sort of rule.
All right, Mr. Producer, this is killing me. Can I send this to you? Will you try to play it? If we can clip here, I just don't know what the time. Oh, 2:08 or whatever. That'd be good. Okay, so I think there's something interesting here. One of the see if it helps, if it does it for you. I don't. So one of the things that I think is at play is that Tracy is actually running for the state Senate seat, and so I do wonder if this is election interference. So it kind of strikes me as a little problematic from that perspective. I will say, I just want you guys to see one more person talk after Monica, because I think stuff like this is actually very emotional. So different people handle it in different ways. I think people like Natalie, Monica, and Tracy are actually much more used to being able to kind of withstand these types of situations. But the third person you'll see is actually very emotional about it. And I think that's a more difficult situation to be in when it's something new. And I wonder, what does that do in terms of attracting volunteers to the party? All right, you got it, Mr. Producer? Oh, no. Maybe we're having internet issues today. I don't know.
Yeah, mine's not coming through any better than yours. Let me try it. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
Keep talking. Give me a second, and I'll pop it up. Okay.
Thanks. Okay, perfect.
Might let it load first, and then.
Okay.
And then
just let me know when you're ready.
Yeah.
I needed it at that where I left off. So, okay. So anyway, in this hearing tonight, Natalie Clausen will be there as their lawyer representing them in the hearing. And we'll see what happens. The thing is I represented Casey Gale in one of these previously, and you're trying obviously to make a case, but you're dealing with bylaws and you're dealing with people and relationships is really what's going to drive a party process like this. It's not really like a legal process in a court. So it is a little bit different. I am interested to see where this turns out and how it turns out. I know that they had a post up saying, I think the hearing is actually in Midvale. So if you're free and you want to go and check it out, you should drive up there, but keep my show on. I did invite any of the people that are there tonight to call in if they have any sort of updates that they want to tell us. So hopefully someone will call in. I just don't know what this looks like from the perspective of if you're in the process. Is everybody sitting in the room right now? Are they doing these one at a time? Because I think my understanding is all 8 people will have their trials done tonight and decided. It's a very rapid process, right? Like boom, 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 boom. Let's get this done. But like I said, I think it raises a lot of questions. Michael Clara actually posted something. Let me pull this up because I thought this was interesting. Just give me 1 second and we can talk about this. Clara here. Okay. So he posted. Oh, okay. Let me share this with you because it's kind of interesting. And look, I'm reporting this as news just so everybody understands who's listening. Because obviously I know everybody that's I know all the people that are involved in this, and from both sides. This is kind of interesting. So Michael Clara actually posted this email that Mike Carey sent on September 3rd, where I think he's going back and forth with Tracy. And he says to Tracy, "You are entitled to your opinion, Tracy, but you're also allowed to be wrong, as is the case here. No one can sue the party for this, as you allege. They can try, but it would be dismissed." I think there's, I don't know the rest of the message here. Further, if you still believe, okay, just 1 second, Mr. Producer. If you still believe we are in violation of state law and putting the party at risk, as you asserted in your original letter Monday, by endorsing municipal candidates outside the convention process, then you should call the Murray PD today and file a report, because we did it last night. I think endorsed a candidate after going into executive session. And then after this, let's not be coy, Tracy. This was all about the McKays, as was obvious from your first letter and email. There is no hiding that this was an overtly personal vendetta for you, so please stop hiding behind misinterpreted Utah law and both state and county party bylaws, or this phony charade of defending the party from me being a liability. You got your first win in a while, and you got your scalp. I guess we will just wait for your next threat. Okay. So that's that. You can kind of see, I think the argument on the part of Natalie is going to be, well, you told them to file the report. They did it. And now you're now trying to remove them for doing the thing that you told them to do. I think that's the argument that will be made. Now, I understand this from the other perspective as well. So, and we've talked about that before. I can see both sides of why people who were mentioned in the complaint are not happy about it. Mr. Producer, yeah, go ahead. Let's put it up. Well, I just want you to, like I said, I want you to watch a little bit more of the video. I just want you to be able to see what I'm talking about in terms of the emotion piece of this.
Well, first off, we all signed a letter because we believed that what was happening was of the county bylaws, the bylaws, and in those bylaws we have a duty to report something if we find that it may have been done wrong or illegally. So we simply signed a letter to report something we thought or saw as being a possible violation. And so that's why we're all here being targeted, because apparently
that email I just read is actually,
they don't want us pointing things out that they might have done wrong.
It's super ironic when you think of it, because we're just
that's Natalie Klein. Now we have Monica Wilbur
in our various capacities.
I guess she's a state delegate.
We are state delegates or members or whatever it may be, but we're just here to represent our neighbors, and we're all volunteers. This is all on our volunteer time. And so when we saw this violation in the bylaws, the party the county party trying to endorse outside of a process. The county has no process to endorse people in nonpartisan elections and to put Republican, favored Republican label on them. And so when we knew that wasn't just all signed a letter saying this is something that needs to be looked into, we feel like the party's tipping the scales. And so we signed the letter, and now I got a registered letter in the mail saying you need to appear to a hearing, that to be following any sort of rules at all. And so it feels like it's rather made up. It just feels like this big witch hunt, and so this is just ridiculous. Like, we are the point. It's really ridiculous. Actually, this is weird,
right? I just like to say that I was voted in. I'm emotional as a precinct chair.
This is Kathy Duke.
And I'm doing the best I can. My desire, and they're coming after me for doing what I thought was the right thing to do, and it's not fair.
Can come after you.
Okay.
Then they can come out.
All right, Mr. Producer, that's good.
Precinct chair.
I really
So that's what I wanted you to see, was that
I want to make a difference. I really want to serve my neighbors and serve my party, and I really wanted to make a difference. And then we get pulled into
Okay.
stuff that has nothing to do
Sorry,
with
I don't know, the
this
video's
is
not
bad.
coming up
This
very
is-
good
this
today,
is
so I
election
apologize.
interference.
But
It's potential. And so
I wanted
one
you
of
to see that emotion from Kathy Duke. You saw like she was very emotional. I don't think stuff like this is easy for most people. If you're constantly fighting with people like some of us are, it can be a little bit less of an issue. Let's see if I'll try one more time to see if I can get a little bit clearer. Because I just feel like it's getting less in the technology piece of this. And this is very irritating today.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of internet lag, and
Very
it's not
annoying.
you. It's not you. It's not me. It's just the internet. You want me to pick it back up again?
No, I'll do it. Hold on. Let me see if I just want them to see this one part. And then
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Here we go. Ready? Here we go.
Just like to say that I was voted in. Sorry, I'm emotional as a precinct chair, and I'm doing the best I can at what my duties are, and they're coming after me for doing what I thought was the right thing to do, and it's not fair.
Okay. Okay. So that's the point. Think about it. I think Kathy Duke probably is more representative of your normal everyday volunteer than a Natalie Klein or a Monica Wilbur or a Tracy Halverson. And I don't mean that to be, I'm not saying that to be dismissive or rude. I'm just saying that for those three are more used to taking arrows, right? So they're able to withstand it better. I just think your everyday volunteer is going to feel like this is very emotional. Like, hey, I stepped up to do the right thing, and now you're attacking me for doing that. And all I'm trying to do is the best I can do. And I do hope that the party takes that into consideration, because I've seen now over my, I guess, political career, whatever you want to call it, these people that step up, they step to the plate, they get into the arena, and they're willing to give up a lot, but they're not meant to step forward to have their lives destroyed as a part of that and have their reputations destroyed. And I think we have to keep that in mind when you're talking about people that are like a Kathy Duke. She's not in this to run for office. She's in it to make her community a better place. That's what she's there for. And so I just really hope that as the party is going forward and debating this tonight, that they're thinking about that future piece of this. Like, how do we attract volunteers to our party? How do we get people excited and get out there? Is this the right way to do it? And so we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully they don't make the wrong decision, and like I said, we're not there. We don't get to hear all the evidence and stuff. I wish I could be, but I have to do the show, so I'm not there tonight. Otherwise I might have tried to go and see if I could have watched it. But yeah, I think that what's going to happen tonight is very tough, regardless. So I wish everybody luck. Okay. And then, like I said, I do think there's an election interference issue because of the fact that Tracy's running for state senate. So I do wonder if they need to keep that in mind, because how do you kick somebody out of the Republican Party when they're running to be the nominee for one of the state senate districts? I don't know. Okay, next, I want to talk about, there has been a concerted attack on children. And I really hope people are waking up to what's going on. But I just decided before we get to that, I have to show you something that has just been making me laugh, because this is so ridiculous. So let me, I don't know, this popped into my feed. And these are the two of the most ridiculous people I have ever seen in my entire life. So here you go.
With 2025's Social Media Icon of the Year award today.
For Influencer of the Year. And we want to thank everybody. Sometimes we make people feel uncomfortable in these kind of spaces, but they shouldn't be. They should get to know us, because trans people are just like everyone else, and we're icons.
Okay. So
this is just proof that hard work pays off. So don't be afraid.
All right, so it's some transgender real estate team. They're based in Texas. I don't know why this popped in my social media feed, but I just think it's so ridiculous. So what I think is interesting, though, is they make these videos of the homes that they go and they tour or whatever. I guess they sell them. And they posted that video, right? And they say trans people are like everybody else. And so I want to show you why the problem. So there's a separate video that one of the men does, because they're both men. You know, as you know, I don't buy the trans junk. But here, let me show you this, because this is one of those men now promoting the trans agenda to children.
Are loved and everything will be okay. You're not alone. I transitioned at the age of 10 years old and I've been living full time as a female since I was 14. Nobody put it in my head. I did it because this is exactly how I felt, just like every other person growing up learns to be themselves as they grow older. And it's the same for trans people. So you just keep being your authentic self and nobody can take away what's in your heart and what's in your mind. Don't let anybody stop you from accomplishing anything that you want.
Okay. So the reason I wanted you guys to see that is that trans people always feel the need to promote their mental illness to other people, especially to children. Being gay is biological. We can argue about whether it's genetic or not. I don't even really care. All I can tell you is that I assume that the way that I am attracted to men is the same way that a straight guy is attracted to women. There's just something there. It's not something I control. It is the way it is. Being trans is not that. That's a mental illness. It's gender dysphoria. You can overcome it, and you should overcome it, because when you go through all these hormonal changes and surgeries and these things that they do to their bodies to try to make themselves look like something they are not, they destroy their bodies. They turn into a 24/7 walking medical, just like a big pharma dream, because they just need drugs and all sorts of stuff. And then, by the way, they actually then have issues with sexual function and stuff like that, meaning that they're never able to get satisfaction. The actual suicide rate for people that transition goes up because they're not able to get the normal sexual satisfaction that adults get. So I just think the whole lifestyle is horrible. And we should be encouraging people like that to overcome the gender dysphoria and become comfortable in their birth sex. And then on the same point, we should be working to eradicate the trans agenda from every single institution in our society, because our goal should be to make it go away. If you don't have it around, if you're not promoting it like they are now, you won't have trans people. And I know the rates are dropping, but they're not dropping enough. You know, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. There were no trans kids that came out of where I grew up. There are gay kids, no trans kids. This is totally just a mental thing, and we need to do everything we can to completely eradicate it. Okay. So just for those of you listening, you are listening to the Goud Crowd. We are on every Monday from 5 to 7. If you would like to call in, you can call 385-899-2134. And you're listening to KMMU Main Street Media, Utah. We're bringing Utah voice. We're live on YouTube, Rumble, X, and our website, kmmu.org. Like I just said, call in and ask a question or just make a comment. 385-899-2134. Thanks for listening. Let's keep going. Okay. Now let me get back to my point. So last week, a bunch of high school students ditched class and went out and protested ICE, right? And let me just add, it's very disturbing to me, because this stuff is not happening organically. It's not kids organizing to go and protest. It's actually, there's adults involved in this. And they're organizing your children to go and protest and be a part of this, right? Oh my God. Marsgate says, how can he shake it off with those boobs in the way? It's very true. It's very true. I kind of wondered when I looked at that, if those are real, I mean, quote unquote real, or if it's a plate, like a drag queen, they wear those breastplates. It kind of looks like that. Okay. So the kids out of multiple schools, multiple high schools for the most part, left class and went and protested. I find it to be very disturbing. And I'm wondering about adults who are encouraging this and also helping or facilitating it. And what does that mean for you as a parent? I think you should be very disturbed by it, to be honest with you. And we'll watch a video. Actually, maybe let's do that first. Give me 1 second here, because this just really disturbed me so much, and people they don't seem to understand how creepy this is. So these kids, they left school, they ran out, they left school. Some of them actually went to the Capitol and they were protesting, and then Senator Nate Bluin, I guess, dropped everything he had so that he could go and hang out with high school kids. I am actually wondering if this video is actually problematic from a legal perspective, because I don't know that minors can give their consent to be filmed by adults like this. And so I mean, their parents might be okay with it because these two boys are Democrats, but I would never do this. You know, like I'm not going to go. I wouldn't go hang out with your kids. This is just it creeps me out on a really basic level. So here, let's listen.
Hey everyone, State Senator Nate Bluin. We are up here on the Capitol steps with a bunch of students who are protesting ICE and what we've seen in our community. So thank you for being up here. Who are you guys? What are you doing?
I'm Andrew Smith. I'm the chair of the Utah High School Democrats, and this is my vice chair.
I'm Cameron. I'm the vice chair of the High School Democrats, and our main goal is to just make sure that the students are aware of what is going on in our country and know how to stop it.
Yeah. It's so good to see young people getting involved, taking action, showing up for their communities. We need more of that in this country right now.
Absolutely. We want to show that every student has a voice, and that if you're like close to any elected official, we're lucky we're from West High, we're near the Capitol. We got a whole crowd here to walk up a very steep hill to be here to talk about how we hate ICE.
Very nice. Thank you guys. Hey everyone, State Senator.
Okay. So, you know, that's really weird. I think that's weird. For those kids are completely unchaperoned. There's no adults who led them down that protest. The school let them leave, which I think is effed up. They go to West High, so I guess they walked over to the Capitol. I don't know how far that is, but like, what if someone gets hit by a car? What if all sorts of things could happen? The school is supposedly responsible for them during the day, and they'll claim that they're not responsible once they leave school like this, but I guarantee you the teachers let them out. Now they get to the Capitol, they're doing some protest, and a state senator runs out and is hanging out with them. And he films a video. Did he get permission from the parents to post the video? I don't know. Did he take any kids' phone numbers down when he was over there? I think that's a question you should be asking. Was he collecting data from these kids? Like, did he have his volunteers for his congressional campaign go and get their emails, get their phone numbers, get their names? I don't know about you, but I do not think under any circumstances adults should be talking to people's kids and their minor children without the parents involved. This is how, I'm just going to tell you, like, there are predators that will show up at events like this, and they will go and they will target your children. And I think Nate Bluin is a predator. This is gross. It's inappropriate. It's really disgusting, if you want my personal opinion. And someone actually posted a comment saying, like, did he give one of them a ride home? I don't know. We only see this quick 47-second clip of what happened in the video, but I don't know what happened after the video stopped filming. I don't know if does he continue to text with some of the high school kids on his phone? This is really disturbing. I wish some parents need to be more aware of what adults do when they have an opportunity like this. I'm sorry, it just really bothered me so much. I just find it really disgusting. So there's clearly a network of adults that are in contact with your children. And one of them is the Under the Umbrella bookstore. So let me show you guys this. I got sent this post. So this is the day before the protest. So the protest happened on Friday. On Thursday, under the umbrella bookstore, it bills itself as this LGBTQ plus whatever safe space. So they put out an urgent call for masks for school walkouts for 15 high schools in need. Okay, so this is kind of weird, right? You have the adults that run this bookstore collecting masks to give to kids. And by the way, they know about the protest before it happens. They at least know about it on Thursday. I don't know how much earlier they knew about it, but this strikes me as really problematic. So how did they find out about this protest? Who told them? Why are they collecting masks? Who are they going to give the masks to? Right? Just really weird. So then it turns out it's this West Side, the Brown Berets. So that's actually important. And I called them. I gave them a call on the next. So I posted this asking some questions about what this bookstore is doing. So why are adults encouraging other people's kids to be truant from school? I think that's a good question. Why are they giving your kids masks to cover their faces during a protest? What do you think is going to happen? Why do they need a mask on? I know why they need a mask, because they're going to encourage your kids to then break the law. Can the adults encouraging truancy be prosecuted under Utah law? I learned actually we don't have a law that bars adults from encouraging other people's kids to be truant. There's other states that have those laws. We don't have that law. We need it, because I think this bookstore should be prosecuted for that. I think all the elected officials, Nate Bluen should be prosecuted for that. If they want to encourage your children, by the way, Nate Bluen doesn't have children, so he's encouraging your kids to be truant while not having any kids of his own. Are parents in Utah okay with strangers encouraging your kids to walk out of school and to wear masks while protesting? And then, can the bookstore's business license be suspended for encouraging truancy? We should actually make that something that we can do. So that sets us up, right? So it's really weird. They're collecting masks. Why? And again, the bigger question I have in my head is, who are you giving the masks to, right? How do you know where to take the masks once you collect them? So then, okay, I'm going to switch tabs. I called the bookstore because I wanted to know. Well, I don't understand what this is about. Now, the woman on the phone was very nice, and she told me that in their bookstore, you actually have to wear a mask to go there, which I don't know why anyone would go to that bookstore. If you tell me to wear a mask in your business, I'm not coming to your stupid business. Not interested. But apparently, people go to this bookstore. And so she said that when they heard there was going to be this protest, they are very caring and they believe that people should wear masks. So they, of course, were going to collect masks to keep the kids safe. I asked her, and I asked her, well, who organized it? Who are you going to give the mask to? Who did you give them? And actually, I called them Friday, so they had already given the mask to somebody. And then she said, well, it's somebody with the Brown Berets. The Brown Berets is a Marxist group that is apparently active in Salt Lake City. And I would guess probably active throughout the state, if I'm honest with you. We learned during that Charlie Kirk stuff that we have an issue with trans Tifa in the state. All these trannies that are also terrorists. We have an Antifa problem in the state. And apparently the Brown Berets is part of that whole Antifa Marxism thing. So then I asked her, well, how are you going to get the mask to the kids? She said, well, this guy from the Brown Berets is the one we collected it for. We just give it to him. So I said, okay, well, what's his name? I want to know who is the person collecting the masks? Because again, somebody has a connection with kids in high school. So where is the connection? How is the communication happening? Is it happening on a cell phone? Is it happening in email? Is it a teacher? I'm actually wondering if it's a teacher. She would not tell me the name of the Brown Beret person. She said she didn't know and that somebody else in the store had organized it. That's when she started to get uncomfortable, because I said, well, can you find out who the person's name is? And she said, well, sir, if you have a question about a book in our store, and the book, by the way, it's a groomer store, so it's all got grooming books to groom kids into being trans. She says, well, you know, I can help you if you have questions about books, but if you have questions about other stuff, I don't think I can help you anymore. I said, well, you do understand that there are parents that are concerned about the fact that you guys are collecting masks for a protest that involved their children without them knowing about it. And then she hung up on me. So the story here, though, is what is going on in Utah? Why are people not up in arms that there were schools that allowed your children to go out to protest ICE, and that there were adults that were organizing this and involved in it? And you now have no idea what sorts of conversations they're having with your children. If it's this, what else are they talking about? And how long does it take until this turns into report your parents because they don't believe in the right thing that we require you to believe in? I don't think we're very far from that based on what I've been seeing. And it does make me wonder about Utah's school system in general and the quality of it. So I will say, like, I do have feelings that we should be moving more towards a voucher system, allowing parents to take their money to the schools that they want, because that prevents exactly what's happening now. The government schools they're not there to create high quality education for your students so that they can become a productive member of society and be civically involved whichever way they want to be. They're actually there to program your kids to turn into weirdo leftists, which it looks like they're being pretty successful at based on what happened last week. So more to come on that. There was a guy who actually made a comment, which I thought was interesting. He said that, let me pull this up, because I was like, what? Okay, hold on. Well, not that guy. Should we play this just for fun here?
And my preferred pronouns are he, him, and his. And my preferred pronouns are he, him, and his. And my preferred pronouns are.
He's so awful. Worst governor ever. Okay, here, there was a comment in here. So this guy, Margaret, said, Goud, according to Andy No's book, Unmasked, under the Umbrella Bookstore is a contact point for Antifa, along with 2 bike shops in Salt Lake City. So that's kind of interesting. I'm gonna have to look this up. I was trying to figure out, and so if people have ideas, like how can we figure out who is organizing these protests and who's the connection between the store and the school? Like, how is the mask getting to the students at the school? I want to know. And mainly because I think stuff like this attracts predators, and you don't want creepy weirdos who want to get your kids out of school unchaperoned to be having any sort of contact with your children at all. Because I guarantee you that if they're doing that, they're also talking about other stuff, and you would not like what they're talking about. Okay, let's see. Next we've got, well, we already talked about Nate Bluin. It's on that Nate Bluin thing. I'm bothered by that too. And I do wonder, he's allegedly married. Like, has anyone seen his wife? Does she think it's weird that her husband posted that picture of a 9-year-old boy, or commented on the picture of a 9-year-old boy and said he had moves? I'd like to know where this, like, I've never seen this woman. She allegedly exists somewhere. And I just wonder, if you're his wife and he just never had a real job, so he's a loser. And then on top of that, he's a creep. What's the attraction? That's what I want to know. What is the attraction? Nate Bluin's wife. And here's that, just so in case you haven't seen it before. There's a 13-year-old boy dressing like a girl sexually gyrates on stage for the entertainment of grown adults. And this person says, this is not okay. And Nate Bluin says, That kid's got moves. That's gross. That dude is the one that was on the Capitol filming with high school students who did not have an adult chaperone with them. That's Nate Bluin. And that is why I think it's really disturbing that he was out there, because, again, there's something wrong with that dude. Something very wrong. Okay, so let's see. I have another thing here for you guys. Marsgate says maybe the wife is cat furry. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe the wife doesn't exist. Probably made it up. Okay. So let me show you guys something. This is kind of interesting. So part of my theory on Utah is that we have a very feminized culture, right? And like a lot of like the disagree better to me. I'm not saying, I just want to make it clear. I'm not saying it's a woman thing. I'm just saying it's very feminized. Like, be nice, don't be contentious. Strikes me it's a little bit more of a feminine culture, passive aggressiveness. And I'm not saying all women are like that. I'm just saying it just strikes me as very feminine. So here's kind of, last week I talked about the Rule 60B motion in Michael Clara's case. And we went up against the Attorney General's office, and we won. We won our Rule 60B motion. And so just let me give you a short summary. Basically, Michael Clara has been doing a bunch of GRAMA requests, so those are public records requests, to get documents related to the 2024 GOP primary. In order to get into that primary, Governor Cox needed to get 28,000 verified signatures from Republicans. He did not actually get them. But Lieutenant Governor Henderson controls the elections, and they're on the same ticket, and she still put him onto the ballot. He ended up winning the primary and then winning the general election. But the reality is that he's illegitimate because they broke the law when they put his name and her name onto the primary ballot. So Michael Clara made GRAMA requests because he learned that there was an investigation going on into Governor Cox's signature petitions, and he learned about it in July of 2024. He went through the whole process. At every single point, the Attorney General's office lied about the existence of responsive records. It was flat out lying. And there's multiple people that were involved in this. One was Lonnie Pearson, who's now the director of the Government Records Office. So they put that dishonest person, they actually elevated him. And then Daniel Burton, totally dishonest guy. He's actually on X, and he'll post about how he reads books. He's a book reader. I love my books. But apparently he's a totally dishonest individual and does not read books about why it's good to be honest. I don't know what books he's reading, but they aren't the good ones, or he's learning the wrong lessons. He blocked me on X when I pointed out that he's a big fat liar, and because he's also it rhymes with wussy, and kind of your typical Utah beta male. Anyway, so after the Attorney General's office got judgment against Michael Clara in the district court, a whistleblower came forward with a copy of the report that he had explicitly mentioned, AG 24170. A whistleblower felt their conscience ping and said, you know what, this is wrong. I'm going to produce this to Michael Clara. He gives them a copy of it, showing that the Attorney General's office had lied and lied and lied for more than a year. And this is under both Sean Reyes and Derek Brown. So both of these guys are involved in it. Once we got that, we filed what's called a Rule 60B motion to reopen that judgment. We did it on two bases. One is discovering new evidence, and the other is fraud, misrepresentation by the opposing party. We won under 60B2, that we discovered new evidence that we could not have otherwise found. The judge then denied the 60B3 part, but she did that. I kind of expected that when she granted 60B2, because there's no reason to go any further. It wouldn't have changed the end result. And that is the judgment was lifted. So now we're at the next phase of this. We're trying to get discovery out of the Attorney General's office. The judge said that we could meet and confer. And so we decided to do that. Well, before that meeting, I got an email from one of the attorneys, and it's an all-female team of lawyers. And this is what they said to me. In advance of Monday's meeting, I want to address tone. Your recent emails and statements during the hearing were unnecessarily aggressive. Keep in mind that their office was lying about the existence of responsive records. We have a good faith disagreement regarding whether the report falls within the scope of the initial grammar request submitted by Mr. Clara as opposed to the expanded request on appeal. This is incorrect. The report is actually responsive to his initial grammar request, as I explained to them. While Judge Petit ruled that the report may constitute evidence of records that could have existed at the time of the initial request, she expressly denied your Rule 60b-3 motion based on fraud and misrepresentation. Continued accusations of or combative rhetoric are neither supported by the court's ruling nor productive. This is the kind of exhausting Utah attitude that I just can't stand. I am not originally from here, and I am way more direct on these types of issues. I really hate when people are passive aggressive. It's annoying and it's weird. And also, you're in the wrong, so don't try to police my tone, like buzz off. So then they say, consistent with Judge Petit's order and in good faith, we are prepared to reassess the initial request and identify what documents would have existed and been available at the relevant time. We expect discussions regarding the next steps to proceed in a similarly professional and constructive manner. Okay, so that's the important part there. So I responded and I said, because here's the thing. I read that and I thought to myself, oh, I see. Okay, they're trying to set me up because they want to file like a bar complaint against me because I'm being quote unquote aggressive, And it's my view, actually, if you're a litigator and they know that I know that they know that I know that they're lying. So, and that their office lied for more than a year because I am pretty spun up on the facts. And I'm actually not even sure that they are, to be honest with you. But the thing is like, if you can't stand to have contention in litigation, then you're probably not built for it, and you should go find another job. So I responded. I said, my tone has not been aggressive at all. It has been appropriate and grounded in the facts of this case, which are the Utah Attorney General's office lied about the existence of records responsive to my client's grammar request to cover up the theft of the 24 GOP primary. We ask that your office approach the meeting and confer with the understanding that Mr. Clare and I have a deep understanding of the facts in this case and are looking for your office to produce every record that is responsive to this request. In terms of Judge Petit, the result would have been the same regardless of how she ruled. Once she granted the 60B2 motion, I assumed that she wouldn't grant the 60B3. All that means is that she thinks we didn't meet the clear and convincing standard yet. That doesn't turn this into a good faith disagreement, and it's not. I will just note that she didn't make any negative comments about my oral argument. If anything, she pointed out that you incorrectly stated that my client raised AG 24-170 for the first time after the entry of judgment. Now, today they said that was if they misspoke. Unfortunately, they also briefed that in their opposition. You should understand there is no trust here after your office lied about the existence of responsive records to my client, the SRC, and the court. And let me just add, this isn't personal against the lawyers that are litigating. Their office is a problem, right? I think actually what happened with Michael Clara indicates that office has major problems with transparency. And I think Derek Brown is no better than Sean Reyes. He's just as corrupt. So I said, you should understand that there is no trust here. Your briefing in response to the Rule 60B motion oral argument didn't help. We only know that you have additional unproduced responsive records because a whistleblower came forward with a copy of the report for AG 24-170, not because your office voluntarily disclosed the responsive records. As I said in my last email, your office still has not produced a single record in response to Mr. Clare's grammar request. I was hoping you would show good faith by producing some records before we have a meet and confer, because it's been 2 weeks. They haven't produced a single thing. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened. After your office's concealment of records for over a year, it's going to take more than words. Yeah, there's a song about that. To show good faith. I am hoping you will show up to the meeting on Monday with a list of documents that are responsive to Mr. Clara's request or some sort of other action that will show good faith on the part of your office. Now, we went to our meet and confer today, and they've indicated that they're still trying to limit the grammar requests. They're playing all sorts of games. I don't actually think that there is good faith. And I don't, like I said, your word means nothing to me. It means literally nothing. Your office lied to my client for over a year. Your office forced my client to have to go and file a district court case. Your office's misconduct, in my view, forced him to have to get an attorney to then go and reopen the case after he got the report from the whistleblower. Our Attorney General's office is a problem. It is corrupt. And I think this is an indication of bigger problems that we don't even have a sense of yet. So we'll see what happens. They've said they're going to produce something by February 20th. So we'll see how this all works out. But from my perspective, this is a big problem. And I think some of this, like I was saying, is like Utah has a very feminine culture. And I think that's kind of an example of it. Like, oh, your tone. My tone is not a problem. Your actions are the problem. If you didn't lie, right? If your office didn't spend a year and a half concealing responsive records, we would not be here today. This would have been done a long time ago and would have already been resolved. I wouldn't even be involved. I wasn't involved until after the whistleblower came forward with responsive records. My tone is not the problem. I am being a zealous advocate for my client. Your actions are the problem. And until we get a good resolution on this, I think it raises questions about every single grammar request that the Attorney General's office responds to. Because this to me indicates that they are willing to lie about the existence of responsive records. It's run by Daniel. Now, Daniel Burton was promoted after he lied. That guy's a liar. He lied, and he got promoted to the Deputy Attorney General by Derek Brown. And what's bizarre about this whole thing to me is his wife, Derek Brown's wife, is clearly somebody who wants her husband to be the governor of the state. That's all this is about. And she doesn't seem to see an issue with it. Like she should probably get her husband into check and be like, hey, people are beginning to realize that your office is problematic. Maybe you need to clean it up so you can run for governor. Okay, now just to put us into a good mood though. I laughed so hard when Tracy Halverson pointed this out, but let me show you this. In this photo, Derek Brown, this is our Attorney General, the guy in the middle here. Can you see my little cursor? Well, I guess not. But if you look at him, at his feet, he's standing on his tiptoes in the photo. It's like so funny. I don't even know. I don't think he's that short, but maybe he's like 5'6" or something. But to me, it's just kind of weird. Like, why wouldn't you guys have just taken the picture like from the, like cut off the feet part so we can't see that he's on his tiptoes in the photo? Like, that's so pathetic. Oh, man. Utah. This can be a very entertaining state if you don't live here. Okay, let's see what else I got for you guys. So I'd already covered the Nate Bluen thing. You know, this is kind of interesting. We actually did have, we have a new entry in the new CD1 race. So I've covered the CD1 race before, right? It's the gayest in the history of America, by far, the gayest. Nothing even comes close. Who is it that did that video? Mr. Producer, do you remember? I played that video last time, and was it Big Rock? Big Rock Insights, maybe? Because I thought he did a good job of giving people an idea of how it's the gayest ever. Let me see if I can find this. I think he did. We got to have him on the show at some point, I think, if he'll come on. I'm not good at finding these things, am I? Hold on. Okay. Let's see, Nate Bluen. Oh, I can't. I don't know how to do this. I'm not good at it. Okay, let me try again. Hold on. Okay, so we'll do this. Neat. Oh, here. Okay, perfect. I found it. Okay, let's play this real quick. Okay, it'll just give you a sense of, I think, Nate Blood.
Democrat candidate for Utah's 1st congressional district. The field of Democrats vying to represent Salt Lake in Congress has gotten pretty crowded, and there's no shortage
what is going on?
of gay liberals to pick from. But trust me when I say that there's plenty of things about me that make me uniquely qualified to be the Democrat nominee. First and foremost, I'm an avid outdoorsman. I absolutely love dressing in hot pink and riding my bike. I just love the feeling
Oh, and he was
of a hard, firm bike seat between my legs. I was also endorsed by Bernie Sanders and have modeled my political career
I'm
after
gay
him
and
by
I don't
living
even
off taxpayers
like
for most of my adult life. Most importantly, of course, is my record of gay activism. I know there's a great selection of gay candidates in the field already, including Ben McAdams, Derek Kitchen, and Ava Lopez Chavez. But have any of them praised child drag shows like I have? Yes, this is a real post I tweeted in 2023. I mean, come on, tell me that kid doesn't have moves. And to any moderates who are unsure about me, don't worry. I'm great at finding common ground with Republicans when it makes sense. I followed Spencer Cox's example by blocking.
Okay. So we actually have now a Republican who's running for the seat. So, and I think someone told me someone else is going to run as well. So I don't want to, you know, I don't want to make it seem like we've only got one. I think we'll have another one too. But here, let's pull up this guy, Congress. Here, so Dave Robinson is running, and okay, so this is him, and so he's a Republican, and he is also gay. So it continues the theme. We're like, it's all gay. It's the gayest race in the history of the United States. Oh my God. It's just making me laugh because, you know, in this case, I will say this. So I know Dave, and he's actually a conservative gay guy. So very different than all the other homos running. You know, Ava Chavez Lopez is a full-on open borders freak. She wants to abolish ICE. So when she hears that an illegal alien raped an 11-year-old kid, her answer is we should abolish ICE. I don't know exactly how that helps that situation, but in her mind, the illegal alien should be able to stay no matter what. I've also heard rumors that she was someone that helped Senator Jennifer Plum trans her son. So this is a real gem. And then you've got Derek Kitchen. You know, he's famous because he was the first gay guy to get married in Utah, and then I guess divorced. So, and I think that's his main claim to fame. I can't really think of anything else that he's done. I know he was in the state senate. I don't know that he actually accomplished anything. So there's that. Then you have Ben McAdams, and I guess he's straight, allegedly. I think if you hear him talk, I think if you've ever heard him talk, you would not believe that he's actually straight. And then you got Dave Robinson. So you got at least four gay people. Is that right? Four? Maybe Nate Blumen's gay. I don't even know at this point. Like I said, he allegedly has a wife. I've never seen her. She's not in any ads, nothing. So maybe she doesn't exist. Okay. So Dave says, I'm not a career politician or an outraged merchant. I'm a problem solver who has spent years in the trenches of water policy, land use, and housing. So this is a very, it sounds like he's going very policy-based. And he said his experience has shown him how the establishment and uniparty work, behind closed doors, manipulating the system and making you pay their steep price. This is true. This guy has actually experienced that firsthand. So Robinson, a former volunteer spokesman for the Salt Lake County Republican Party, is in the process of suing several GOP officials for defamation after he was accused of sexual harassment and bullying by several women. Scott Miller, the chairman of the county party, resigned in 2021 after he questioned the motives of those women. I think he was right to question them. So in this case, Amy Winder Newton, Lori Stringham, Abby Evans. There's a couple other ones whose names I don't remember. There was like some woman who ran for the recorder, Erin Preston, maybe Erin Preston, and maybe another woman. I can't remember the other one, but they all accused. So they accused a gay man of sexual harassment. Just let that sink in. These women accused a gay man of sexual harassment. And so I can just tell you as a gay man, I am not sexually harassing women. That would be a massive amount of effort that I am not putting into anything ever. That sounds horrible to me. And I don't think Dave is any different. So the allegation itself was so bizarre. I remember reading about this in the newspaper at the time and turning to my partner and being like, dude, check this out. The story is so weird. I wasn't really active yet in Utah politics in that heavy of a sense. But I read it, and like the comments that they allegedly said he did, and I actually think he didn't, were things that if I heard them from a gay guy, I would think he was joking, or he was just like, you know, 'cause a lot of times we can say things to women that a straight guy can't say because the relationship is different, right? We're not threatening. I think if he said those things, that's how it would have been like, yeah, that queen just said something funny, whatever. But I think there's something deeper here, and it's probably worth digging into because, man, those women, whew, Amy Winder Newton is not a good person. I'm just going to tell you, she is not a good person from what I know. Now, what's interesting about this is, you know, like they brought up the allegations in a question. He said there have been serious allegations made against me, and they deserve scrutiny. Allegations, no matter how many times reported, are not facts. What matters are records and sworn testimony. I'm confident in what the record shows, and I trust voters to distinguish between allegations and proof. So that's kind of interesting. He didn't just come out and say it's false. He's actually telling people, hey, you know what? Do your due diligence. See what you think it is. And I would like to do some of this myself. Because I know, I will be honest with you, I know a little bit more about this because I have read some of the decisions in the case that have come out. It's a very convoluted situation. And I do feel like from some of the orders I've seen that the judge is kind of playing games here. So, well, we'll dig into it because I think it's interesting. And we'll see if we can get him on the show because that'll be kind of fun to learn more about what happened and where it's going. So let's see here. So right now he's a lone contender, lone Republican contender for that seat, which heavily favors Democrats after the 3rd District Judge Diana Gibson threw out the old congressional maps and adopted a remedial one last year. The state Supreme Court in 2024 ruled lawmakers overreached by changing Proposition 4, an anti-gerrymandering initiative, and Gibson said the previous maps stemmed from that unconstitutional act. So going back to what Sophie was saying earlier about how the legislature actually put us into this position of needing to now repeal Prop 4, this is actually a great example of that. The Supreme Court of our state, they're all confirmed by a supermajority Republican Senate, and they're a complete disaster. Literally, it's like you elect these people. You go, you work your butt off, right? You're like knocking doors, you're trying to get them elected, you're working really hard. And then they think that what you want them to do is to go up to the Senate and confirm Democrats into judge positions. That's literally that's how they talk. We elect the stupidest people into office, literally the dumbest people, or they're just liars. And it's possible that a lot of them are actually liars. Because I think what they do is they tell you, oh, I'm super conservative. Look at how conservative I am. Then they repeat that word a lot, right? When you listen to people that are actually rhinos, so listen to Amy talk, Amy Winder Newton, best example. She'll just go on saying, I'm conservative. I have a very conservative record. Conservative. And then you actually go look and you're like, there's nothing conservative about your record. You're not conservative at all. You're essentially a Democrat. But she's hoping that by constantly repeating the word, you'll associate conservative with her. and she is anything but conservative. And that's true for most of these guys. Mike McKell, not conservative. Todd Weiler, definitely not conservative. Unless you think, you know, supporting the trans agenda is conservative. I do not, but maybe some of you do. Anyway, let's see. Marsgate says Utah has a history with AGs and it's not improving whatsoever. It's really not. I agree with you. This thing with the grandma request that what I was talking about is really bad. It is indicative of a deeper problem. And I'll just be honest with you, it could be across the entire government that people are lying about the existence of records responsive to grandma requests without any sort of ramifications. We need to have a better sense of this. And that's why I do think Michael Clara's case is important. And I have made clear to opposing counsel, we will use every tool we have to make sure that he gets every document he is entitled to. They have then interpreted that as a threat, which is weird because I was like, I'm talking about legal things. We're all lawyers. I think you should understand that. If you don't understand that, maybe you should find a new profession, you know, not litigation. Go find something else. But we'll see how that goes. God, this just like something popped into my head. I'm a little bit all over the place today because there's just been so much going on. It's such an exciting time. I wish some of our guys that are at the little hearing today would call in. Okay, what did I think of while we were just talking that popped in my head? Oh, look. Oh, there's a ton of people at this. Okay, here we got a first photo out of this thing. Okay, so let's share this. Michael Clara is at the meeting today. He's giving us a photo. This is the executive committee meeting. I am wondering though if they're going to go into a closed session for when they start to try to remove people from it. So this is kind of an interesting. I'm interested to see what happens. Let's see who we got here. I don't know who this person is. This looks like, you know that she used to be a state senator. It looks like her. This looks like Roy. I like his little flannel. I'm not sure who this is. It's scary that I can tell some people by their hair. The hat, I'm not sure. This is Kirby. Kirby is a really good parliamentarian. Okay. Oh, Marsgate says, I've done grandmas and didn't get one damn answer. Yeah, no, it happens all the time. I did one recently. Troy Williams posted this video when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, talking about how he was in contact with the governor's office. So I did a grandma request. They sent it to, I actually went through all the way up to the State Records Committee. Then the Attorney General's office filed a motion to dismiss, saying I didn't bring any evidence showing that they have the records. They denied there were any records responsive to my request. And I brought up, like, in the past, Governor Cox, they tried to hide, there's this weird text message between him and Troy with like heart emojis on it. Totally weird. They tried to hide that by asserting a privilege. Sophie got that one. Then I pointed out the stuff with the AG's office. Like, there's clearly a dishonesty going on here. But anyway, I didn't really have a lot of time to deal with their motion to dismiss, so they ended up dismissing it, even though I filed an opposition. But I will admit, it was a little bit like I was in a hurry. I didn't have a lot of time because I've been kind of stretched to the max. The referendum plus my normal practice plus I have stuff going on in the Guard. All of this stuff just stretched me to the limit. So yeah, unfortunately, maybe I'll try again. But yeah, if you have, I will say, if you make a grandma request and you feel like they're not being responsive, you have to appeal it. And it's free to appeal it all the way through the State Records Committee. I'd recommend that people always appeal it. Okay. Anyway, so we were going to these people. This is Mike Carey. I think you guys know that. I can't tell who. Oh, I was saying Kirby's a really good parliamentarian. Like, he knows the stuff. Mike, I don't know who the guy in the beard is. This is Emily Swanson over here. She's the secretary. I don't know who this is. Don't know who this is. I think I know this lady. I don't remember her name. And then this looks like, is it Jensen? I'm not sure. Okay, let's see. Is there anything else up? Oh, they're voting. Wow. This is like a very poorly run. So Michael says this is like a very poorly run SLC school board meeting, bogged down on what is and what is not on the agenda. Can they take action? Who can vote, etc. And so it goes. Ooh, it'll be a fun one. If you're out there, go check it out. Let's see. So I'm trying to think of who else I see here. Oh, this is Mark Furlong. This is Jake, I think. Minus, Susan Beretta, Steve Aced. Anyway, I bet, I almost want to go after the show's done because I think this will be fast. Oh, there's Neil Sebring. He's over here. But I think the thing is I think they'll close it to the public once they get into the trial part. I don't think. Let's see if Tracy did anything. Let's see here. Oh, okay. So I guess this is, let's see. Okay, so then this Tracy posted about it. Let's see, when did she post this? She's got 350. Oh, 1 hour ago. She said, we believe in free and fair elections. Last September, Salt Lake County GOP Mike Carey asked the party executive committee to endorse in the Sandy, Riverton, and Harriman mayor races in order to tip the scales for their preferred candidate. It is clear that party committees cannot endorse in municipal races. Chris Null spoke terribly about the frontrunner in the Riverton race because he is best pals with the McKays, and Tawny McKay tanked in the primary. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's see.
For reporting what they believe to be.
My name is Mike Carey, and I am the Salt Lake County GOP chair.
Ever since I became chair, I think I am king.
Right. Can I just say, like, the AI generated version of him is kind of fat. If I were Mike, I'd be offended by that part of it.
There are 8 members that I am unlawfully trying to remove. These 8 members want me to follow the law and the rules.
Also, the voice doesn't match. Tracy, you got to work on your AI skills.
I am going to do what I want and how I want. These 8 members told me that it violated the election law to endorse outside the convention process. And so I told them if they really believe that it violated the election law, then go ahead and report it.
No.
And do you know what
Well, that's kind of the point, right? If you tell them to report it and they do, I feel like it might be a little bit weird to then turn around and be like, okay, now I'm going to remove you for reporting it. But I don't know. I'm not on the executive committee, so it's not my decision. Marsgate says it's exhausting. Yes, making grandma requests is very, very exhausting. The whole process is exhausting because they're clearly trying to hide information and you're trying to get it. And they generally don't want you to see what they have because I think a lot of times it's pretty embarrassing. Okay. Well, it's 7 o'clock. It has been a pleasure. This is the Goud Crowd. I am your host, Goud. We are on every Monday from 5 to 7 p.m. Until next Monday, if you have any tips, feel free to reach out. You can DM me on X or you can text me at my phone number, which is very, very public, as is my address. So anyway, we're on every Monday from 5 to 7 p.m. on YouTube, Rumble, and X, and our website, kmmu.org. It, as always, has been a pleasure, and we will